Just ahead on CTV News.
Coming up on CTV News, we have details on that devastating air crash over the Potomac River.
Plus,
Prince George's send first responders to help with the recovery effort at the Potomac River. I'm Katara Jones. I'll tell you exactly who they sent coming up on CTV News.
and lawmakers and advocates push for more gun safety laws within the state. Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for January 30th. I'm Mariah Jalad. Thanks for joining us. Tonight, we begin with tragedy in the sky. A mid-air collision leaves 67 people presumed dead as a commercial airliner collides with a military helicopter on its way to Reagan Airport. Our Noel James is in studio with more.
That's right, Mariah. This is now considered the worst air crash in American history in almost 2 decades. Here's what we know. At approximately 8:47 p.m. on Wednesday, American Airlines Flight 5342, operated by PSA, was approaching Reagan National Airport from Wichita, Kansas, with 60 passengers and 4 crew on board. Now, the jet collided with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter with 3 soldiers on a routine training flight from Fort Belvoir, Virginia. Immediately, a massive search and rescue operation kicked in with responders from as far as Fairfax County in Virginia to our own Prince George's Police Department and the D.C. Fire Department. Overnight flights were diverted to Dulles and BWI airports as Reagan was shut down, but has since reopened. Meanwhile, rescuers had an especially difficult task overnight as water temperatures in the Potomac were in the 30s. Now, hypothermia kicks in almost immediately in those temperatures. Early this morning, the operation sadly became a search and recovery effort. The D.C. Fire and EMS Chief John Donnelly confirmed that there were no survivors. And at this hour, preliminary reports indicate that 33 remains have been recovered from the plane and 1 from the helicopter wreckage. Public ferries aided in this recovery mission. Now we're also learning that Prince George's County was affected in this tragedy. 4 members of the Plumbers, Pipe Fitters, Steam Fitters Local 602 Union were on Flight 5342. Union General President Mark McManus said, quote, "The United Association is grateful to first responders. Our focus is now on providing support and care to the families of our brothers." Additionally, members of the U.S. figure skating team and their families were also on board. From the White House, President Trump spoke on the tragedy, saying the NTSB is expected to conduct a comprehensive investigation into the tragedy. We now go to CTV's Katara Jones, who's at the National Harbor with more.
That's right, Noel. As first responders continue to search for victims in the Potomac River following the deadly crash involving an American Airlines plane and an Army Black Hawk helicopter, Acting County Executive Tara Jackson has closed the piers at the National Harbor due to debris from the crash that has spread into Prince George's. However, the plaza here at the National Harbor still remains open. It's important to note that we do not know how long the closure of the piers will be. But what we do know is that millions of visitors come to the National Harbor every year to shop or to eat. We have also learned that first responders from Prince George's are stepping up to help in this recovery effort. Jackson says that the Marine, Dive, and Aviation units from Prince George's Police are at the Potomac River assisting in the recovery effort. Reports also show that Prince George's Fire Chief Tiffany Green has sent 2 water rescue resources, 1 airboat, 1 rescue boat, as well as 12 technical resource personnel and a hazardous materials team to the scene. We spoke to a resident who lives here at the National Harbor and take a listen to what she had to say.
We have a glass wall. I stood at that glass wall and I saw something that looked like a lightning. I didn't make any connection. I didn't hear anything. Only when I watched the news in the middle of the night, I made the connection and I understood that something horrible happened.
Again, this is a very active scene and investigation. Make sure you stay tuned to CTV News for the latest details and how this incident will impact residents right here in Prince George's. Katara Jones, CTV News.
Thank you, Noel and Katera. We're just absolutely heartbroken for the victims of this crash. And as of this afternoon, we just learned that recovery operations have been temporarily paused due to dangerous conditions in the water. Now, we're not sure yet when recovery will start back up again, but CTV News will keep you updated in the days ahead. Meantime, as Prince George's County grapples with its budget, the county heard from residents last night. Residents had an opportunity to participate in a fiscal year 2026 budget listening session with Acting County Executive Tara Jackson. Now, many residents spoke about the need for additional funding for animal management, improving trash cleanup, more funding for nonprofits, and better transparency on the county website.
We are still learning the scope of the impacts created by the litany of executive orders and new policies, and each day brings new information. But as I stand here today, I feel pretty comfortable saying that there will be an impact on Maryland and Prince George's County.
I would hope they would include more medical personnel and equipment, because we need more medical equipment in that shelter. A lot of dogs will come in and we don't know if they're pregnant or not, so sonograms would be great so we can determine if a dog is pregnant or not. And more medical equipment for like the spay and neuters, more funding for spay and neuters, because a lot of dogs are going out of the shelter not spayed, not neutered.
And that listening session was held at Prince George's Community College. And County Council Vice Chair Edward Burrows is pushing to allocate nearly $10 million through the MGM National Harbor Local Impact Grant. Burrows plans to allocate the funds within the next 3 years to, quote, invest in initiatives that uplift residents and provide meaningful opportunities in District 8. The proposal will address critical needs such as senior citizen and veteran support, food security, and youth employment and development. The plan is scheduled for a public hearing in the council on February 18th. And in other news, Maryland has put stronger gun safety laws on the books in the last few years, but advocates say there's still work to be done. Everytown for Gun Safety held its annual Advocacy Day in Annapolis this morning, urging lawmakers to pass 3 more gun safety measures this session. One of those would prohibit the sale of pistols that can be easily converted into automatic weapons. Another makes state laws around domestic abuser firearm ownership more strict. Advocates get the chance to speak with lawmakers directly.
My main priority is making sure that students are known, although they don't get to speak to representatives on a daily basis. We are constituents too, and the minute that we do turn 18, we do make those decisions, and we want to have a better future for future students.
While we push forward on the Family and Law Enforcement Protection Act, Comprehensive Community Safety Funding Act, and the ban on Glocks, we must also stand firm against any effort to roll back the progress we've made. And every legislator who moves in the wrong direction needs to hear from us.
And another gun bill being proposed this session would classify theft of a firearm as a felony. Prince George's Senator Ron Watson is one legislator signed on.
Think about it this way. If I steal a watch of yours, if the watch is worth $100, you know, that's a misdemeanor. If I steal a Rolex and it's worth $1,501, that's a felony. But it doesn't take into account the law. It doesn't take into account if I steal something that can take somebody else's life. So what we want to do is to make sure that there are penalties associated with stealing a firearm, because these are used in nefarious behavior. And that's something we need to stop and make sure that if somebody does that, the penalties say this is not something you want to do.
This same bill was introduced in the 2024 session, but it didn't make it through committee hearings. And the nation's report card shows promising progress for some Maryland students. State Superintendent Carrie Wright says 4th and 8th graders made real progress in reading and modest progress in mathematics. Maryland 4th graders now rank 20th in the nation when it comes to reading scores, a major improvement compared to 2022 when they ranked at 40th. Literacy has been a priority for Superintendent Wright, and she praised the thousands of teachers and administrators in Maryland that have taken courses to deepen their own knowledge and become better teachers. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Mariah Jalad. Coming up, as football season comes to a close, questions remain about where the Commanders will play in upcoming seasons. After the break, we speak to one Maryland lawmaker on why they should stay in the old line state. Back in a moment.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School, college first-round draft pick. On and off the field, we were taught to not show any signs of weakness. During the football season, I would stop eating. I didn't know I was depressed. I thought that something was wrong with me. For 20 plus years was physical. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father, as a man, and as a husband. Put the importance on your mental health. I'm not scared to talk about it anymore. The first tool is therapy. The second one is positive self-talk. And then journaling, putting your thoughts on paper. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
I tell my son, I love you every single day. I love you. Now, my dad has never said that to me. Not because he doesn't love me, but because culturally it wasn't comfortable for him. Now that he's a grandfather, he says, I love you to my son every time he sees him. My advice to all the fathers out there, forget the cultural restrictions. They grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Welcome back. Well, in response to President Donald Trump's ban on DEI programs, the Defense Department's intelligence agency has paused observances of several cultural and historical events. The department, which includes the Pentagon, will not observe 11 annual events, including Black History Month, which is 2 days away. Yesterday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth directed his staff to create a DEI task force to ensure no DEI programs exist in the Pentagon, stating in an interview, quote, DEI is gone. And the quantum computing company IonQ is considering leaving Maryland if Governor Wes Moore's budget proposal fails to pass in the General Assembly. The governor promised to allocate $10 million to the company for a new headquarters in his budget proposal earlier this month. Now the funds would help IonQ double its workforce in a new 10,000 square foot headquarters within UMD's Discovery District. The company's CFO says they've began weighing other location options in Greater Washington. And President Donald Trump's promise to step up ICE enforcement has caused increased concern among restaurant owners in the area. Although ICE raids at schools and restaurants have not occurred in this area yet, D.C. area restaurateurs fear for their staff's safety. In a webinar yesterday hosted by the Restaurant Association of Metropolitan Washington, members believe increased I-9 and Department of Labor audits are on the horizon as well. And a vote that could bring a lucrative concessions deal to BWI Airport has now been postponed. The long-term contract involved Fraport Baltimore Partnership LLC, who has been partnered with BWI for over 20 years. The contract would extend that partnership for another 2 decades, but the vote was pulled from the agenda of the Board of Public Works, which consists of the governor, state controller, and state treasurer. This puts the contract's approval in doubt, signaling members might have some major questions about the proposal. And with 2 years left on the Washington Commanders' lease of Northwest Stadium, where they will play beyond that is uncertain. Glenn Ivey is among Maryland lawmakers who want the team to stay here and was among Prince George's lawmakers who recently met with the team's owners to talk about the Commanders' vision for Northwest Stadium. Ivey says he wants the team, along with state and local leaders, to bring more vision to the table.
We want to see programs and plans that put out economic development efforts that can make that 200 acres of parking space into something that's economically viable. We think that the stadium is a great anchor and launching pad for economic development here. We've seen it happen in other places like Patriot Stadium up in New England. We think it can happen here too, and we deserve it.
And the District of Columbia, which already began the work of demolishing RFK Stadium, has indicated it wants the Commanders to come home. Stay tuned as this all unfolds. And a Maryland public defender is being sued for defamation after allegedly firing an employee over false stalking claims. Natasha Dar-Teague and the Office of the Public Defender are named in the suit, which says even after an independent mediator found the claims were false, the OPD did not issue a retraction or correction. The former employee says the claims that she stalked an attorney and posed a threat of violence unfairly tarnished her reputation. An OPD spokesperson says the office does not comment on internal personnel issues. Well, have you ever wanted to get your own produce from a local forest? Well, Maryland Delegate Lorig Charkoudian is proposing just that. Under House Bill 257, foragers would need to get a permit, and the foraging would be allowed on specially designated lands managed by the state's Department of Natural Resources. Charkoudian said foraging brings communities together and allows families who might otherwise go without food to supplement their diets. And still to come on CTV News, well, a new year has many people looking into a new wardrobe. After the break, 2 of CTV's very own become models for the day and talk with a personal stylist on dressing to impress, no matter the occasion. Back in a moment.
Vision loss is not something that you feel until it happens.
Most people lose their vision from diseases like macular degeneration and glaucoma. Not at birth.
With macular degeneration, you lose your central vision.
You have a blind spot right in the center of your face, so I can't actually see your face.
So even that little circle in which I could see became a big blur.
I was 65 when I first was diagnosed with glaucoma.
There were no symptoms. I had no headaches.
3 million Americans have glaucoma, and half don't even know it.
11 million people in the United States have macular degeneration.
You lose mobility, independence, changes your entire life.
So many eye disorders can be treated if caught early.
My husband tells me that I have beautiful brown eyes, and I don't want to lose that.
Make a plan today to get your eyes checked.
Visit brightfocus.org to learn more.
Diversity is in our nature. It is in nature, too. Biodiversity. It connects us and sustains us. But nature's biodiversity is at risk more than ever before, and the future of all life is in our hands. So what will you do? Love it or lose it?
It is so hot out today, but I'm about to get this hike in, and I just had to show you the view. Beautiful.
Yo, you should come out here. We came outside to unwind.
Oh, wow.
Close the laptop. Transmission.
We outside. Come find us.
Well, we're just a month into the new year, and whether you're looking for a new flame or a new career, you only have one chance to make a first impression. CTV's Michaela Newton and Bryce Parker recently got a chance to speak with personal stylist David Hinton on how to dress to impress and how your personal style tells a story.
Hey everyone, we're here with fashion stylist David Hinton.
And today he's going to be teaching us how to revamp your look going into the new year. David, how you doing?
All right, how are you?
I'm doing well, can't complain. So, tell me a little about yourself. How long you been styling?
So I've been styling for 9 years, and I was in the military, and that's kind of what got me into styling, because when I was transitioning out of the military, there was no real way to style yourself or switching from wearing a uniform every day into, finding a position or finding a job. So I felt that it was a good way to help my community.
Right, and so now it's the new year. People are starting to revamp their closets. So what should be the first thing when you think about trying to put together new looks?
So the first thing should be knowing kind of yourself and your personality and where you want to go in life, so you can kind of put together outfits that resonate with that trajectory that you want to move towards.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, does our personal style actually tell a story when we decide what clothes we wear?
Oh yes, your personal style definitely tells a story, because I feel like during the pandemic, a lot of people got into wearing like pajamas or active leisure when they go out. Mm-hmm. And when people see them, when people see people more dressed to impress, they feel like, oh, I can be this way with that type of person. Mm-hmm. I can be this way with that type of person. But if you dress down, they kind of feel like, oh, well, they really don't put forth effort into their style or how they look or how they present themselves, so they treat you different kind of thing. So I feel like definitely if you want to, definitely style is one thing that people do should take seriously, and people do treat you different when you dress different.
Absolutely.
And I like how you brought up dressing nice, dressing more professionally. I see behind me you have some dress clothes behind here, and it's my impression that we're gonna be able to try on some of these clothes. Michaela, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to try on these clothes. Are you?
Yeah, I'm ready to try it. So what do you have for us today?
So right now I have a pair of pants for him and 2 tops that can interchange with the pants to show how easy it is that you don't have to wear same color, solid color all the time. Mm-hmm. And then a jacket for if it gets cold outside. And then for you, I have a skirt and a top.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's try them on.
All right, we have Bryce today in a regular fit purple dress shirt, blue pants that are slim cut, and black shoes.
All right, so David, love this outfit. Can you tell me, where can I wear this at?
You can wear this in a day in the office, or if you have a happy hour to go to after work, you can definitely rock that to a happy hour. It's easy to wear. You don't have to wear a tie with it, and it's super chill, super cool.
Right, it does feel super chill. I love the color combo, the purple with the blue. But I also must say, I kind of love like the taper look, because I am a taller guy. I am a little bit slimmer. I feel like it's kind of hard to find stuff that might fit my arms, my legs, but also my waist at the same time. And I just feel like this style, it really just fits me right now. So thank you so much for this fit. I'm gonna grab my second outfit, and I'll be right back. Can't wait to see what it looks like.
All right, I can't wait. And then we have Michaela with the sweater, short sleeve, horizontal stripes, and a mini skirt.
I love this look. I find it hard to find some things that fit me, but this is like a perfect size, perfect fit. Where can I wear this?
You can wear that definitely in a day in the office or a happy hour as well, definitely. Or, just a regular day. You want to go shopping, you can wear that as well. I like it because it's V-neck for slimmer people. It's good to show off the neckline, and then the mini skirt elongates the legs.
Yes, perfect.
So David, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm gonna need some more looks from you, so where can we find you at?
So I have a website that people can go to. They can definitely check me out and sign up for a consultation.
All right, well, I'll definitely be one of those people, so you'll be booked up at least by one person.
What is that website?
It is davidhstyles.com.
Awesome, absolutely. So, well, there you have it. We hope you enjoyed this styling session with David Hinton, and we will toss it back to you at the desk.
Oh, wow. You guys look absolutely amazing. I'm so jealous. I might have to crash that styling session next time and get a few pieces for myself. So to learn more styling tips from David or see some of his editorial work, you can follow his Instagram at davidh.stylist. And still to come, Simon Buggs has our Thursday sports page.
Don't go anywhere, guys, because coming right up, Terps head softball coach Lauren Korn and some players from the team talk about having a bounce-back season in 2025. Stay tuned. everyone, the wait is finally over. Your Thursday sports page is here. Beginning with some softball news, the start of the Lady Terp season is just 1 week away. Maryland will travel to the desert to take on Arizona State on February 6th in the Kajikawa Classic for their first game of the season. Now, the team didn't have the best record last year, finishing at 24-30. And outfielder Maisie McFarland and first baseman Sydney Lewis, as well as head coach Lauren Karn, all touched on bouncing back and having more success in 2025.
Last season we faced a lot of adversity. We lost a lot of one-run games, and we talked a lot about what it takes in certain moments to make up for that one run. And part of that was just our mental toughness and the way that we could just dig a little bit deeper, get a little bit more gritty in at-bats, making plays, making pitches. And so reflecting on the things that we needed to do in those moments has really been a focus for us starting this fall. And we feel like because we had our entire unit together from day one, which we didn't have last year, we were able to set the foundation that we needed.
I think that this year our preseason schedule is going to really set us up for conference because we're playing a really challenging preseason, and so playing hard teams and getting that adversity under our belt is really going to help us in conference, and so I think doing that is going to help us compete in the Big Ten.
We come in and we work our butts off every single day, and at the end of the day, like, if we play the game right, like, the results are going to speak for themselves. And I think the intensity with which we've gone into every practice is just so much different than last year. And I mean, at the end of the day, like, while this conference looks a little bit different, like, our philosophies have been the same but more implemented this year and have had more time to be implemented this year.
Man, I can't wait to see what this team does in 2025. Moving on to more Terp sports news, the nation's oldest college football all-star game in the East-West Shrine Bowl will be taking place tonight. And make sure to tune into that, football fans, as there will be some UMD players suiting up in the game. The first one is defensive lineman Tommy Akingbasote. The Largo, Maryland native started in all 12 games for the Terps this past season, and he led the D-line in tackles with 32 and had 5 tackles for loss, a sack, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. The next one is defensive back Glendon Miller. Miller had a solid season for the Red and White, finishing the year with 3 picks, was tied for the 6th most in the Big Ten, and was the most on his team. The Florida native also recorded 39 tackles, 2 pass breakups, and a fumble recovery. Kickoff is at 8 o'clock at AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys. Switching gears to the world of high school hoops, tons of teams will be taking the court tonight. Largo will look to grab their 9th win of the season against Friendly. Eleanor Roosevelt will be at home matching up against High Point. Duval will be on the road going up against Laurel. And finally, Potomac will look to get a win when they face off against CMIT North. And finally, the Washington Wizards will be hosting LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock. And that wraps up your Thursday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. Now for a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Rain's expected tonight, so be safe out there on the roads. Tomorrow, keep those umbrellas handy. We'll definitely be having some rain. A big storm will reach a high of 54. Saturday, it's going to be mostly sunny with a high of 47 and low of 28. Sunday will be cloudy with a high of 46. And for our community calendar, this Saturday, the Oxon Hill Branch Library is hosting a beginner and intermediate sewing lab. Learn how to work on seat cushions, bags, purses, quilting, and other similar projects. The lab is equipped with sewing machines and accessories. This event takes place from 11 a.m. to 1 in the afternoon. For more information, contact 240-455-5451. And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.